The Penal Code addresses the issue of jurisdiction. While jurisdiction may seem a simple concept, there are a few unusual situations the Penal Code addresses in order to assert its ability to prosecute. We will discuss both the simple and the unusual in this screencast. First, the simple. Texas has jurisdiction over an offense if the conduct or the result that is an element of the offense happens in Texas, or the conduct outside of Texas constitutes an attempt to commit an offense inside Texas. For instance, if you buy a gun in North Dakota and then travel into Texas with the intent to commit murder, but are caught before you can actually kill someone, Texas can still prosecute you for attempted murder, even though your overt act took place outside of the state. Next, the Penal Code states Texas has jurisdiction over an offense if the conduct outside of Texas constitutes a conspiracy to commit an offense inside of Texas, and an act in furtherance of the conspiracy occurs inside of Texas. For example, if you conspire outside of Texas to kill a person inside of Texas, enter Texas and buy a gun for this purpose, but are stopped before the killing, Texas may still claim jurisdiction, even if the conspiracy started or was confined out of state. The Penal Code continues that Texas has jurisdiction over an offense if the conduct inside of Texas constitutes an attempt, solicitation, or conspiracy to commit a crime. These are called in-show offenses. It continues that Texas has jurisdiction over an offense if it establishes criminal responsibility for the commission of an offense in another jurisdiction that is also an offense in Texas. For instance, let's say two people conspire in Texas to kill someone in Virginia and buy a gun in Texas for this purpose, but they are stopped before they ever leave the state. Texas may still claim jurisdiction even though they intended for the killing to take place outside of Texas and charge them under Texas law with conspiracy to commit murder. Sometimes it is difficult to establish precisely where a criminal homicide was committed, particularly if a body is dumped somewhere other than the place where the killing occurred. In this case, the Penal Code states that if the body of a criminal homicide victim is found in Texas, it is presumed that the death occurred in Texas. Related to this, the Penal Code states that if death alone is the basis for jurisdiction, it is a defense to the exercise of jurisdiction that conduct is not criminal in the jurisdiction where it occurred. For example, let's say a body is found here in Texas, and the fact that it's found here is the only basis for jurisdiction. But it's determined the manner in which the death was caused occurred in Mexico, where the specific act which resulted in the death is not an offense. In a case like this, the defendant might be protected from prosecution on the basis that Texas doesn't have jurisdiction. Keep in mind, this scenario would be very unusual and is highly unlikely. The Penal Code addresses another rare possibility. It states an offense based on an omission to perform a duty imposed on an actor by Texas law is committed inside the state regardless of the location of the actor at the time of the offense. So for example, let's say a nursing home company headquartered out of state shuts down an in-state facility. In doing so, they fail to take several actions the Penal Code requires them to take pertaining to notifying the state, and residents suffer bodily injury as a result. Even though the persons responsible are physically out of state, the Penal Code asserts jurisdiction to prosecute them for their omissions that occurred out of state. Finally, in regards to jurisdiction, the Penal Code states Texas includes the land, water, and airspace above the land and water over which the state has power to define offenses.